Hello, and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode number 496 at scavengerlife.com.
Are you ready for my scavenger gripes? This is what this episode is going to be on. Are you ready to gripe?
Scavenger gripes or eBay gripes? Just general...
Kind of both. I mean,
okay.
you know. All right,
Gotcha.
Here we go. I would like to make a t-shirt that says, I'm interested in your process. Wouldn't that be a cool shirt to make? Because here's the deal. When I go to auctions, or if you look at people online that make YouTube videos about hauls, you know, people are always about, the stories are always about home runs.
Yeah.
If I'm ever and this doesn't happen now, obviously, during the pandemic, but, you know, I go to auctions, and guys sit around and ladies sit around like, oh, I bought this thing for $20. I sold it for, $10,000, and that's the one thing, back in 1986, it's like, that's the one thing that keep on. And I'm like, great. That's interesting. Yeah. That's always fun. But I'm more like, I'm interested in your process. Like, you can maybe make $10,000 in a month. I mean, that's super impressive. Yeah. Can you do that next month? Right. And the next month? Have you been doing that for a year, 2 years, 3 years? That's what, and that's why when I talk to other scavengers, that's what I would want to hear about. What's your storage like? Yes. How do you ship? What's your inventory? Where do you, buy on a regular basis? Who is doing who's putting this stuff on eBay for you?
Well, it's the sustainability. Right. That's what we always talk about is like you said, there is a system. You have to create a system so that things are sustainable and efficient. Right. And does it work every day?
Have you ever had like a problem, like a death in the family, someone gets sick, someone's in an accident, where your store has continued while the problem has been...
Can you step away?
With. Right.
Can you step away from it?
Like that's interesting to me. Endurance is always more important to me than a quick flash sale.
Yes. And that's what we talk about with eBay. That's what we talk about with Airbnb. Right. Like, those are things that are necessary for your business to move forward.
For our business, like, I don't even care about other people's. Like, that's our business. It's as people who are self-employed, small business owners, we are in America without a safety net. Our do or die is on our processes, you know? And that's a thing that helps me sleep at night, those are things that make me wake up at 4 a.m. where I'm thinking like, oh my God, how we've set this up isn't sustainable.
Right. Like, there's something that has to get fixed. Yeah.
For some reason at 4 a.m. is when everything becomes very clear, when I'm like, oh, if this happens, we're screwed.
Oh God.
And so.
You sound like me. That's usually me.
But then we work on that process,
Well, we fix it. Right. You're like, when you come across a problem and you're like it was 4 a.m. when I was thinking about this. We have a mesh network at one of our rentals. Right. And for some reason, it just pops out and like disconnects itself sometimes. And you have to unplug it and replug it back in.
What do you mean it pops out? Like it comes out of the wall?
No, not pops out. I mean, it just like disconnects. Like all devices, it disconnects. Basically, it needs to get rebooted. So I'm thinking about this at 4 o'clock in the morning today.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know what? I'm pretty sure there are internet connected outlets that they also have timers on them. So it's kind of ridiculous. Well, okay, it's the Wi-Fi network. So if the Wi-Fi network's disconnected, the plug will be disconnected. Right. But if it has a timer, every morning at 4 a.m, I'm going to have it reboot itself.
Ooh, look at you.
So, because it's a pain, because our renters are like, the internet's not working. Right. So that is an example of like, I am so tired of thinking about this. I know there's a solution and I need to implement that solution so I never have to think about it again.
So in the next decade, we're not going to have calls from a renter that says, why isn't our internet working?
Because I'm like, it disconnected all the things I don't even know why it did that. But if I reboot it every day, it'll reset all the IP addresses.
Okay. That sounds like okay, so that's a good example. Okay.
Was that not a great example?
Okay, but let's stop so it's not the internet show. The next gripe I have is, I hate when people ask me, well, what's your budget? So if I want to buy something, if I'm a scavenger,
my budget's $0,
and I want to buy something, people say things like,
"What do you want to pay?
What's your budget? How much?
I hate that.
Would you pay? Or how much do you have to spend?" I hate these questions.
I have $1.
And this came up this week because, we have this new coffee business. It's local. I wanted to get ads in the newspaper. In our local town, our little tiny community paper
people
is actually... people read it cover to cover. I mean, it's only like 10 pages long. And so I'm like, how expensive is an ad? So I email the guy and I call him. And he asked me that. Well, what's your budget? I'm like...
What's my budget? How much is an ad?
Just tell me how much an ad is. And then I'll ask, well, if I, buy for 6 weeks in a row, do I get a deal? I don't want to tell him my budget's $500 and then he'll backfill anything. $500. I'm like, well, that just happens to be, I just happen to have a package just for you. But the same thing happens with like scavenging. I go to a flea market, again, pre-pandemic. A guy has all this junk in front of him, no prices. I'm like, how much is this thing? How much would you pay for it?
I hate
our
that.
price now. I mean, what we say now is, I'll pay you $1. Like that is I'll pay you $1. Like if that's the question you're asking me, and then it'll be like, oh, well, how dare you? I'm like, well, I mean,
I absolutely, because here's the deal. I have gone to places, flea markets, thrift stores, whatever, friends, garage sales, whoever. And you're like, so many times, you're like, here's this cool chair.
Right.
How cool do I think it is versus how cool do they think it is? Right. Is it a $10 chair?
Right.
Is it a $300 chair?
Right.
What range are we talking about here? Right. And I need to gauge that from them. They need to give me the gauge.
Right.
Because then I can't.
Well, I mean, like a twist on that question will be, people ask, well, like, how much do you think it's worth?
Oh, God.
And it's like, well, that's a different story. I mean, I think it's worth $300. Like, that's how much.
Because I want to buy it for 10 and
I'm
sell it for
buy and sell it for, but I don't want to pay you what it's worth. What do you want for it?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I hate that, too.
That's a great gripe. I really, really hate that, too.
Yep. And then my other gripe is, and it came up this week, it's not a gripe. It's more just like a hard reality where you have to become an adult. And I did not make this up. This is like one of those things people know about. It's not our fault, but it is our problem.
Oh.
Or it's not our fault, but it is our responsibility. And that is something I know we specifically
I hate that.
have struggled with.
I struggled with that like 3 times this week.
Over the years and this is so extremely important for us to learn. Like, it is easy for something to happen. Someone complains about something, there's a problem, and it's easy to be like, well,
that's not my fault.
I didn't do that. Like, it's not my problem, and it does not matter. Because the problem has to get fixed.
And you're responsible for fixing it.
And this is really how to be like a leader, whatever. This is like one of those like things where like this is how you become a leader or like a better person, a better business owner. Like if we can accept this every time without fighting it, it will make our lives easier.
Yep.
So for instance, I mean, we sell things on eBay. Someone buys it. There's the post offices in between. The post office is having problems, things get lost, things get damaged. The buyer says, I got my thing from you, it's broken, it's lost.
Yep.
If you're the kind of buyer that's like, well, here's a 10 paragraph
explanation
why it's not my fault, like you are just in a world of hurt. The buyer's like, I don't care.
I want my money back.
And the right way to deal with it is, oh, I'm sorry about that. We're going to wait or open up a case, or, here's the adult way to deal with it that I'm part of, or here's your money back. And then I'll deal with the post office, and I'll get the refund or whatever it is,
Yep.
And that is the right way to do it.
I dealt with that 6 times this week.
Yeah.
Not exaggerating that number. Not exaggerating that number.
We had to have a fight over a period of 2 days.
Oh my God.
We won't get into it. It
wasn't a fight. It was a disagreement. A heated disagreement. And you know what? And I hate to say this. I 100,000% hate to say this.
This on the record.
You were right.
I love it.
I should have taken responsibility. I didn't want to. I was like, this is not my fault. This is not my problem. You're like, no, this isn't your fault. This is your problem. Deal with it.
And I did say, it's our problem.
Yeah, well,
you're not alone in this,
And it was not a big deal. It was just, you know what it was?
You're like this, okay, Dad.
It was just,
okay.
It was just annoying.
I know.
It wasn't anything more than just annoying. And it got fixed. Because I decided to fix it.
Yep. And it made it easy. It didn't really cost us anything.
Yeah, it was so stupid. It was overly dumb.
Right. And just, this isn't really a gripe, but just something that came up because of this. So, online buyer behavior. I think also as eBay sellers, we learned this a long time ago. When people buy things online, and really anything that has to do with the internet, people become the worst kind of person. I mean, I myself can become a really bad baby. I'm become a crazy drunk person when we buy things online.
I don't think you're that bad.
Because people just feel like they can hide behind the anonymity of the web. Yeah. And, they just, we had a guy from San Francisco. Doesn't really matter, except it will in a second. He bought a lamp from us. Yeah. It's heavy, it's got glass, it's big,
it's bulky.
And he buys it. And then he says, oh, the shipping for this is insane. It was $40 to ship from Virginia to California. San Francisco, which is across the country, oversized box. We would have to double box it, all that stuff. And he's like, $40? It should be, a third of the price to ship this. He called us a liar. Yeah. He's just so angry.
And so I accepted an offer, so he hasn't paid yet, right?
I know.
But what I'm saying is, it's not like he's saying this before he bought it. It's he bought it, saw the price.
All right. And so the way to deal with that is just just say, we try and explain. Just one time.
One time.
It's a heavy piece.
Right.
It's fragile.
It's big. It's bulky. It's going across the country.
Just do we give him the specifics of the packaging so he can input it into the post office website if he wants to. And then we're just silent. And then after that, that's what we learned. And we had a whole show about it. We've talked about it.
Silent treatment.
The silent treatment is so powerful. We do not have to go back and forth.
So I canceled that sale.
Yeah.
Blocked him, relisted it. Because that was a lamp I had just listed. So I knew somebody wanted it. But
Right. And so, as a seller, we learn to act like a bouncer almost. That's what we have to do. Or we have to act like a parent. We don't have children, but I can understand now with online buyers. They're little babies.
Little drunk babies.
You just have to be clear and firm.
Yeah.
No back and forth. No long paragraphs. They don't have to know about my feelings.
Yeah.
I don't have to do deep explainers. I just give these drunk babies.
Yeah, drunk babies.
Just clear choices. They can choose.
Right.
Or if they don't choose, a choice will be made for them. Just like a little baby.
Just like a little...
If you don't want to choose, I'm just going to give you what we have in the fridge.
I don't want that.
Why don't you just eat an apple? I'm not hungry for an apple.
I want French fries.
So anyway, that's kind of a gripe, but that's something we talk about endlessly because, buyers are endlessly frustrating. And I have to remember, though, I have been... Maybe maybe not quite that bad. But
I am a terrible buyer. But I am a terrible buyer.
But I've been a buyer where I complain about shipping, and sometimes
because I know too much. I know too much.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I have so many stories.
Yeah, where you're like...
I'm like, you charge me how much? You gypped me by $4.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
Let's talk about our week on eBay. Number 1, My Cottage on the forum. That's their username. My Cottage. The eBay shipping coupons are out.
Oh, God.
For this quarter.
I have to
for
buy
anyone
stuff.
that has a store subscription, you get free shipping supply coupons. And there's a new, I don't know if it's new, but they had the box in stock, the 12 by 12 by 12.
They took away the 12 by 12 by 12, and then now it's back.
Is that exciting to you?
Yes. I always need a 12 by box.
Okay, cool. So
that's not priority.
Right.
Because maybe I don't want to send it priority.
Let's see if they're still available.
Yes. I gotta go buy them.
They are available. $34.25 free shipping for 25 12 by 12 by 12 boxes.
Ooh, that seems expensive. Oh, well, you get the coupon, but still, you're like, how many am I getting for that?
So anyway, go for it. And you can find your eBay coupons. I feel like eBay makes it difficult, but you can do whereisthecoupon.com.
Whereisthecoupon.com. .wordpress.com.
Okay.
Sorry, it's not .com.
Right. It's like
.wordpress.com.
a scavenger made a website to help you find the link on eBay.
Although, however, I will say, if you go to eBay shipping supplies and you fill up your cart, your shipping supply coupon should be down below.
Oh.
Like, you have to activate it, like apply this coupon.
Right.
I think they changed that so that it's applied now.
Well, there you go. Julie... It was interesting. She says that the post office, it doesn't really have anything specifically to do with eBay, but the post office is now selling a forever flat rate box, which I think is interesting.
It's a prepaid label.
Right. So
how much is it?
It's retail rate, so and it's it's like flat rate envelope, flat rate padded envelope.
Like you can
large
prepay
box,
for those.
you just prepay, which is so it's not interesting for those of us still on eBay because we get a better price in what you get. But it is interesting to think like there's like, I don't know.
Well, it's like forever stamps.
Right.
It's like if you buy forever stamps 5 years ago and you bought like 10,000 of them, well, that's an investment.
So what's interesting with forever stamps, you're future proofing, you're doing arbitrage, I guess. And, it's like if you bought, $1,000 worth of stamps and then in like a year, 5 years from now, it's like 10 cents more.
Right.
What's interesting about the prepaid padded stuff or the prepaid
flat
boxes,
rate,
prices can go up
a lot.
$3.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if there's going to be those crazy like arbitrage guys who like put $100,000 into prepaid boxes.
I mean, that's a lot of money. $100,000. That's a house. It
goes up $3. It's like the guys that buy I want a pallet of nickels, and then I'm gonna sort out the silver.
Somebody said that the other day on the forum.
Yeah,
I was like, and then I'll return them to the bank.
I'll get a sorter and then sell the copper. It's fun. I mean, look, I only make fun of it is because it's so hardcore, and part of me is like, that is
amazing. Awesome. That is Scavenger hardcore.
It's like the story, and people can Google this. Google the pudding guy, the guy who found
the pudding thing.
He found he could buy these discounted packs of pudding that had a little coupon on it where he could get free travel points, and he started going to all the grocery stores in his state and bought pallets of pudding, paid people to take off these coupons and then redeemed them for travel points to some airline, and I don't know, he got a lifetime of first class flights or something. I mean,
well, and then they put the kibosh on that. They were like, we're changing that system
because someone's like, he did what?
What? Why would he do that? Well,
Temujin, I don't know if that's his name, but he's he or she is, I think it's a he. They're on the forum a lot. Okay, this was a concern for a lot of people about managed payments. Managed payments was not dealing with coins and paper money.
Yes. You couldn't sell coins and paper money
if you were managed payments. And I think it was just because like there were problems with it's a way for people to like launder money or something. Anyway, starting January 13th, 2021, sellers in the coins and paper money categories, including bullion, gold will be notified to register or will be activated for managed payments if you've already pre-registered. Sellers that have already activated managed payments may create items in these categories beginning January 25th. So, problem solved. It out. Another complaint figured out. So you can do it.
Yeah.
We had a new person come onto our forum named Broadstone, and she says...
She or he?
It's a she.
It's a she.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Redstone was saying that they sell jewelry mainly, and they do really good. Like when people post their numbers and they're like, selling 3 times as much, making 3 times as much, I'm just like, I'm like bowing down. Yeah. I'm like, what's your process? Like, that's what I want to know. And they sell mainly like gold and silver and jewelry, which I see that stuff at auctions, and I see
it's a whole world.
The specific scavengers that are really into it, like it's behind the glass case and they say, can I see it? And the person puts it down, they've got the loop and they're doing all that stuff, and
they know the price they want to pay.
Like one example she showed was she bought something for I don't know $1,200 and sold it for like $4,000.
Holy crap.
But she does say she has to hold on to it. She sells only on Etsy.
Yeah, okay.
Ooh, because I guess she says eBay, she doesn't feel comfortable selling jewelry on eBay because of the scammers.
True, could be.
But Etsy, I guess she doesn't have as many problems, which is good. She said something that is going to be my new motto, and I guess it'll be a new t-shirt.
Another shirt.
She says, my husband has encouraged me to put my stale inventory on sale. Anything older than a month. Mm-hmm. And she says, I tell him that with vintage, there's no such thing as stale. It just gets more vintage.
That's amazing. I love that. That's right. It's There's vintage. No such thing it's as more stale. Vintage.
It's just more, and it's so true.
Yeah, it's even now it's antique.
Like there are items where I'm like, it's so cool. I can't believe it doesn't sell for more. I wish I had more storage. I would just start buying this, putting it in a corner somewhere, and then in a decade, I would sell it for like a lot of money because it's going to come back in style or something.
Yep. Totally.
I love that. And then my buddy Mike was telling me that there's this new thing. This is probably old news, but it's new to us. I kind of heard about this. So just like there was a rash of these Goodwill outlets.
Yes.
Probably in 2015, I think is when they started popping up. I remember we were traveling. We were in Denver, and we heard about them, and we went to one, and
it was just madness.
Just like, I don't like this. But now they're everywhere, and people like have their whole lives built around going to the Goodwill outlets and getting stuff in bins. There's a new thing, Amazon return stores.
Yes, similar, right?
Where everything's in bins, and like a Monday, it's like $5 per bin or whatever, and then like at some point it comes down to like $1, like on Fridays or something. It's like $1, and these are returns, or he says it's when people, I don't know, their business goes south or the storage fees get too much. People just they destroy,
right?
And it doesn't get destroyed. It just gets sold. Because that was my concern. I'm like, if these are all returns, aren't you just buying like broken items?
So it's not just broken
he's like items. No, you're getting.
But also people return things for who knows what reason. I bought the wrong one, I opened the box, well now it's not new, and
I'm assuming it's just going to be like the Goodwill bins. I've not been. It makes me, I'm currently
You're having anxiety.
Having anxiety, just imagining going to one of those. Because I'm very competitive.
Yeah.
I would definitely be in there, like, elbows. I'm like, give me that. And there's, like, people who, like, live there. And, like, that's their bin that they live at.
Oh, my God, it's the worst.
And they say I can't get there. But I'm like, that's not the rule. And then I, like, go to the employee. I'm like, why can't I get in this bin? He's like, I don't know. I just work here. And then I have to, like, push him out of the way. And then the guy's, like, kind of like winking at his buddies, and oh my God, I'm so
this is let's definitely not go there.
So, but it does make me feel like more and more everything sold online is just going to be cheap junk that keeps getting recycled. Like we talked about that. Did we talk about that last week? I mean, we were talking about on the forum where like I don't really buy a lot of stuff on Amazon anymore because a lot of it is just cheap junk where people have just taken really good photos of it,
Yes,
like
we were just talking about this.
Utensils and stuff. Like the photos look great and they're like in this beautiful home and you're like, oh, it looks great. And then you buy it and it's just like, it's
cheapy junk.
Just like dollar store stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like good marketing,
right,
but bad products. And those are the things I'm imagining are at this place.
Right.
Where people return them because like they're trash.
Yeah.
And then people buy them and then try and sell them again for
like
$20.
Sell more trash again.
I don't know, but I guess it's just people have to become smarter buyers. You've taught me that about...
Me?
Yeah. Ultimately, buying on eBay isn't just because we're eBay sellers. It is good to buy from individual eBay buyers because they often take photos of the item. Like, if it looks like a catalog item, I often skip over it.
Yeah.
Just show me the actual item I'm going to buy, Yeah, so period.
I agree.
Okay, this is a whole lot of gripes today. Our numbers for the week. January 3rd through the 9th, 2020.
Yes. Numbers.
Yep. I was just going to say, if anyone's hearing this in the far future, it was a very tumultuous time in American history.
Oh my God. But I can't even believe
we lived through it, and here we are just talking about money because it's America. We sold 45 items for $1,711.31.
Great. Love it. Had some high dollar items.
Pretty good. I mean, it's actually better than it was during kind of our Christmas season. So we talked about this.
Christmas week was horrible.
In years past, it seems to be a pretty common thing where like actually our kind of stuff isn't really like stuff like that people buy for holiday
stuff.
Yeah. And then the holidays are done, and then people either they get cash for Christmas, or people just start buying stuff for themselves again.
Yeah.
Our highest price item were these 2 Kilban cat mugs. Is that how you say it? Kilban?
It's like Clibin.
Clibin. I think it's Kilban. Anyway,
I don't know.
It's just like this 80s cartoon. Yeah, it's Kilban.
Kilban. Kilban.
It's like this 80s, I think.
Yeah, it's like 80s cartoonists of cats with like sneakers on and stuff.
Right. At the internet, and it was like, maybe it's early 90s.
It was 1989.
Wow, and the cat's like
playing with the mouse,
right?
Like get it, the computer mouse.
$100, right?
So it was a pair of them for $100.
We've had these for a long time.
Yeah.
So people are like, "That item's stale." I'm like, well, we waited for
$100.
What's interesting? I did some sleuthing. So the person that bought it had never bought anything on eBay ever.
Right.
So they had no feedback. They buy our thing. We were their first feedback.
Right.
And with buyers, you can't see what people
they
buy
bought anymore. Yeah.
However, they started getting more feedback.
Right.
So I looked at what they were at. You can see the seller that they bought from, not the item. I would go to the seller. I would see what the seller had just sold.
And it was some of those
This person was buying these Kilban stuff. And we were the highest price.
Yeah.
She bought ours for $100, and then she's buying other people's for $20.
Yep.
And that makes me feel good because it shows people who are collectors are willing to pay more
for the thing they want.
And we were willing to wait.
$100 for 2 mugs? That's nuts.
While other people are like, "Oh, this is trash.
This is $20.
I want to sell it fast." So those people who were selling mugs for $20 might have left $80 on the table.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
What? I price stuff every day like an absolute maniac. People probably think I'm insane, but stuff sells.
You sound like a used car salesman.
I'm insane with these prices.
And look, that just works for
high
us.
Prices.
Everyone can sell the way they want to sell. We're not telling you.
It's just what works for me.
If you have the t-shirt that says, "What's my process?" I'm telling you my process.
That's what works for me.
Don't be mad, bro. Okay, we sold some lights. 2 lights from a building that we bought for $60.
Yes.
We bought the building for $60,000 and we made $60.
It's $60 on some
no, it's good.
lights.
So we bought this old building. We still need to renovate it.
It's very junky.
It's on Main Street, USA.
In the middle of the Main Street intersection.
Such a great location, but it's like it needs a lot of work. We haven't touched it yet. We bought it for $60,000. We've probably made $4,000 selling stuff from inside the house. Yep. Furnishings. There was like an old sign that was like
that old sign
under the house.
Right.
We sold that
the Beauty Queen.
The Beauty Queen, like
it's cabinets, kitchen cabinets.
So
yeah, I sold the crap out of those things.
Depending on how we renovate it, we might be able to like pull up the flooring and sell the flooring
upstairs.
Or sell doors. I mean, there still might be some money to squeeze out of there. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously we're in the red on that building, but it's nice.
Yeah, it's
nice to make some money.
Yeah.
Scavenge of the week.
We went scavenging yesterday.
This guy right here.
We actually went to a thrift store.
Yeah, like kind of like one of those church thrift stores where it's just like a hodgepodge of stuff. Yeah. But it's so fun to go and just grab stuff.
It's like Christmas.
Yeah. All different kinds of things.
Our own Christmas.
Pottery, clothes, shoes. Just
like anything of good quality that's a good price.
I bought like a juicer.
Juicer's like as big as our table.
That I'm touching right now and sitting here.
It's huge. This thing is massive.
It was fun. We spent like $70.
$70.
Yep.
Got like half a truckload.
I spent $70 and I'm going to make $2,000.
Or more. Okay,
bro, what's your process? Customer issues.
Customer issues. Broken items. Two huge broken items that I have to claim insurance on, which is a pain in the butt.
You've had a couple of broken items recently,
and they're made of resin. It's not fiberglass because fiberglass is stronger.
Right, it's not fiberglass.
It's these like plastic resin garden
big,
statues.
Bulky. They people will pay a lot of money for them.
They break in shipping. I double pack them. I bubble. It does not matter. Broken.
Peanuts.
It does. You don't know.
Peanuts.
You don't know. It's not peanuts. It's like you need massive, huge, oversized double boxing.
I think if we were to get...
One of them didn't break, but 3 of them broke.
Big steel containers, fill it with mercury, liquid mercury, and put them in there. Floating them. That would probably be okay. All right, anyway. Another customer issue I had was, and it's the continuing story. I don't know why it's happening so often. We had 3... So we sold 45 items. But we also sold 3 other things where people buy it
and immediately
within an hour say, I want to cancel for reasons like, this shipping's too expensive. Like,
to Great Britain.
And it's like, well, the shipping was told to you. Yeah. And then we try and explain, this thing. Or people say things like, I found a better price.
Or this is the wrong size. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't check the size in the title. Before I bought it, the size is in the title. Oy. People don't read.
Who's going crazy now?
People don't read. It's just a pain because you're like, that's a great sale. I love that sale. Nope.
Yep. You're like, we've had this for so long. I'm so glad it sold. Okay. We've talked about everything we've talked about on the forum. I front loaded that. And now let's take the question or comments that people sent in this week.
Okay, you can email us an audio file. Our email is thescavengerlife@gmail.com, or you can call our voicemail line. The phone number is 540-407-8486.
Hello, guys. It's Gina. I have kind of a question, like what would you guys have done? I get a message this morning from eBay saying a buyer has opened a case of, the item didn't arrive. So I'm like, oh, no, because through this whole COVID Christmas fiasco, everything's gotten there. Thank the good Lord. So I look at it, I look at the details, and it says, so I do the tracking, whatever. It says delivered to the person in or at their mailbox. I shipped it on the 18th. It says delivered on the 24th. There's a message included from the buyer that says, I would still like this item, but if you can't provide it for me, I'm like, wait, what? So I messaged her back and I said, I'm a little confused. It says delivered, yet you would still like the item. I did my job. USPS apparently did their job. I don't know what you want me to do. So the item was $12 plus shipping. In a normal case, like if the shipping was off or, they hadn't delivered, I just boom, refund. No questions asked. I don't care. But, and however, I stand on principle. It's like it says it was delivered in or at your mailbox. So I have a call into eBay and they're going to call me back. I just wondered, would you have sent that snarky? Well, it wasn't snarky, but it was just like, I don't understand, lady. What are you talking about? I was curious as to what you would do with that kind of a thing where it says it was delivered to their mailbox. And actually in an oddly timely fashion, 6 or 7 days, first class in this situation that we were in at that time. It shipped on the 18th, got there on the 24th. And just a little add-on, a little mail hack, which you guys probably know about and maybe you don't. In a pinch, I use PayPal shipping when it's non-eBay, like to ship to my family. And you just do paypal.com/ship now. And, you can print a label. It's not cheaper. It's not like, ooh, but it's good in a pinch. Thank you, guys. Be curious to hear what you have to say.
I appreciate the question. This is like what we all deal with. I will tell you, your life, I'm going to be the self-help guy. Your life will be so much better if you do not get snarky about this stuff.
Yeah, be snarky in your head. Be like, lady, what? Okay, now type the professional email.
Find a friend and snark about it over coffee. But this is really the easiest thing. The person has confirmed delivery.
Yeah.
All we say is, here is your tracking. It was delivered. If there's a problem, call the post office. Done.
The end.
Silence.
Never talk to them again.
Silence.
If they say, this did not get to me.
Fine.
Nothing to be said. eBay will back you up.
Yeah. Silence. And then what happens is they can open a case. Fine. Open a case.
Put the tracking number in.
eBay says, seller, please show your tracking. eBay has it, but they still ask for it. You give the tracking. Someone at eBay sees that it was delivered, then it's done.
It's closed.
And eBay sometimes does a refund out of their own pocket, which is
to
fine.
The person.
But for us, it is done, and that's all. And so I don't know if you're new to eBay, there's never any reason to be snarky with buyers. There's no win. It may feel emotionally good, but it's just, there's no upside to that.
Here's an example of this exact situation.
Go.
Not the exact situation because it didn't get delivered yet. I had an item. It got shipped after Christmas. It was like New Year's Eve day. It got shipped. That's not that long ago in these delays, right? It's going to Pittsburgh, not very far away. It's been scanned a day or two ago, but it's like saying it's late. So it's late. So this guy messages me and he's like, I realize this is in transit and is late. However, I will be opening an item not received case. And if I get it, I'll close the case. Okay, buddy, how about don't open the case because you know it's on the way?
Plus he says, I assumed it was sent priority, even though it looked like he only paid for...
Parcel. But I did send it priority. Because I could do it flat rate. But yeah, so you're like, okay, this guy's kind of being a jerk, right? So I just say to him, again, I'm looking at this message, dude, please, why are you, being a jerk? But then I'm just like, yep, it's on its way. It's delayed. It is not lost. It got scanned 2 days ago, but it's on its way and it's late. And that
it's perfectly legal for him to open up an eBay
I didn't say
case.
anything about
I know,
the case.
But he can, and then if he does, we don't deal with him. We just deal with eBay. And again, when you know the rules of eBay, then it does. I know people complain about eBay, but like any game, eBay's just a game. If you know the rules, then you know how to just like maneuver and yes, no, yes, no. It's just like a decision tree, and that's what I love. Exactly. That's what the process is.
Hi, I'm just calling because a few episodes back, you guys were talking about all of the boxes that you collect to use for shipping on eBay. And like those Amazon boxes or things that you get, and then they just kind of pile up and become almost a death pile of boxes, but you don't want to throw them out because you still want to use them. So I wanted to share a tip that I just recently started doing. I broke down the boxes and then I stuck a sticky note on them as I broke them down with the basic measurements. And then I stuck all of those folded boxes into a large box so that I can kind of just flip through it to see from the sticky notes what the size of the boxes are. So instead of holding up the boxes or measuring each box later on when I actually need it, if I have my item measured that I'm going to ship, I can just go and see the sticky notes to figure out which box will fit. It works really great. I can just very quickly see the basic measurements and what box I will need. It's also great because I realized there were a number of boxes I'd been collecting that I didn't actually use very often. So instead of having 20 boxes of a certain size that I only need 5 times a year, then I can just keep 5 of those or start collecting as that little pile of 5 starts to dwindle. So anyway, I hope that helps. Obviously, I love your guys' podcast and hope you guys have a wonderful new year. Thanks.
This woman would be one of my favorite people at a scavenger party because I'd be like, what's your process? And she's like, well, let me tell you my process. And I'm like, taking notes.
Look,
Ryan,
this lady is way more organized than me. I would never take the time to do that. I'm just like, I'm breaking boxes. If I break boxes down, you're lucky.
So, look, all jokes aside, we are getting to box overload where we need to actually...
I need to break some boxes down.
But the issue is, and look...
I use them all the time. Every single day I use crazy size boxes.
I know this is being recorded on a podcast, but I'm going to show people exactly how we talk to each other. So this is really a serious thing because the problem is that we do break down boxes. Yeah. And then I put them up on the top shelf and they're just like a pile of broken down boxes that I don't think ever get touched because
they're
it's
on
like,
the bottom.
And I understand because you go in there and you're like, I need a box. You're not going to like take this whole stack of boxes down.
I do.
Do you?
Sometimes.
Okay. But she has a good point. What if we were to break down boxes and then put
do them by size?
A sticky
you don't
note.
even have to do a sticky note. Just write right on the box.
There you go.
Like it's a cardboard box that's used. Just write the size on it with a Sharpie. Here's what it is.
Talk to me.
I know. So I need you to listen to me. Yeah. I need help with this. I don't have time.
I know. Right.
So help me with the organizing. Right. I'm not going to do it myself.
Shh. I'm not saying...
I won't.
I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm saying we do it together, but I need your help.
I don't want to do it together. I want you to do it.
Okay. Look, I don't even mind doing it, but I would need your help setting it up because you're the one that needs the boxes. Yeah. We would need to have a system. So if I were to do the work of like taking boxes down and measure them, I need you to show me how to measure it. Yeah. How you want it ordered. Yeah. Anyway, there's more for us to talk about anyway.
It does. Look, because we sell such, like we said, that lamp that I was about to ship across the country, like I do need weird boxes. Right. And if I don't have them right away, it sucks. Right. So that's why I hoard boxes. But yeah, there are times where like I have 3 boxes that had toilets in them. Yeah. Great boxes. They're freaking huge, you know? Yep. And they just need to be broken down.
She is a good, and then we'll end this. A nugget I pulled from her is, you get one of those big boxes that a toilet came in, and then you break down the smaller boxes, write on them, and put them in there, and then you're able to like flip through and be like, oh, here's like a 18 by 25.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's a 17 by 16.
Yeah.
Here's a 19 by 52.
Those are... 52. That is, you can't ship that through the post office.
Anyway, okay, and that's why we were talking about, like, why do we keep doing this podcast? I mean, I don't know. Like,
because we learn stuff every week.
I mean, honestly, in the grand scheme of things, after we pay our server costs, like, we don't really make much money off of this. But I do that. We do it mainly because we still get nuggets of info. I'm like,
all the time.
Like, I could see having a box apocalypse happen and we just like end our store like forget this. So she might have saved our whole store.
Oh my god.
Okay,
That's it for the calls.
I will say, let's talk briefly about coffee. It's this new business we're starting. It's exciting to us. If you want coffee, you can buy it at broadporchcoffee.com.
And you do want coffee?
10 different coffees. This week was very exciting. So we have 2 other partners.
Yes.
We did an experiment where we were like, what happens if the guy, our partner that normally roasts...
He's the master roaster.
What if he can't roast? Let's do an experiment. Ryan roasted all the coffee this week. And we did it. It was really interesting. We put our buddy on...
FaceTime.
Like a FaceTime video facing the
control panel on the roaster.
And you guys were just talking and you roasted everything. Now, you were not a newbie.
Yeah.
You actually took that class with him.
Yeah.
Like a whole week class.
Well, Phil already knew what he was doing, but we took a class together to learn new stuff and to get acquainted with our roaster.
Right.
Because our teacher has a similar roaster. So... Yeah, so I took that class as a complete newbie. Like, I know some about coffee because I'm a Q grader, but I don't know about roasting. So we learned a bunch of stuff together, and I roasted with Phil for 2 months in a row.
And what's interesting is I did not know this. I mean, when you roast coffee, it's not like you push a button and then you come back. You know, it's not like a microwave.
Right.
Microwave. It's, there's like a roasting curve where you start it. I'm going to make up numbers here. 400 degrees.
You can start at 400.
And then, there's a roasting curve, and you make sure it goes up to, 525 or something.
That's too high, but yeah.
And then, in between, you're doing raising and lowering at certain times, at crack time. And it's like it's an art. It's like a skill.
You can automate it, and our roaster is meant to be automated, but we haven't done that yet. And so I was we have recipes. I helped write down all the recipes for the first couple months. Phil walked me through it. Okay, let's turn the burner up now because we want to get up to temp a little bit faster, So we roasted every single coffee we have.
And we did 200, almost 200 pounds. And
over FaceTime.
And we were doing, we have a relatively big
Pretty big roaster.
Where we can do 25 pounds at a time, which is a large
That's big.
roaster. So we did 200 pounds, but we were doing in batches because we can't do a maximum. So sometimes 10 pounds, sometimes
13,
pounds,
sometimes 19, sometimes 22.
Yeah.
Depended on how much
it was
we
like a
needed.
full day.
It was a full day.
And more
roasting.
orders were coming in as we were roasting.
And a lot of wholesale orders were coming in, which are big.
We were thinking let's just try an experiment. And then suddenly it's wow, we're having one of our
It was
biggest...
a full production day.
And it was cool though. I was really proud of you. You were the one doing the controls and talking to Phil. And then I was in the background doing what I love to do best. Organize. I'm here's a bucket for this and here's this. And then
you packed everything.
I'm packing everything. And so when we talk about process,
that's it.
In our new business, this is what makes me feel like this business can be successful is because we're thinking of the process. Because we were all worried. Phil has always been kind of like the bottleneck.
He's the bottleneck.
He's good at what he does.
Yeah.
He's great at what he does. He makes good coffee. But what happens if he can't roast? And so now we've shown if you did this 3 or 4 more times, you could probably roast on your own without Phil.
Yeah, I'd know enough about each bean and what it needs.
And then so that makes this new business, broadporchcoffee.com, more sustainable.
Right.
And like that question I was asking earlier in the show is what happens if someone gets hurt? What happens if someone's in an accident? What if someone's sick? Can your business keep going or do you shut it all down? Right. And this makes me feel our business would keep going if one person, was down. So.
Right. And so that was part of the experiment was sort of if Phil can't be here and coffee is what we're selling, we can't run out of coffee.
Or if Phil wants to go on vacation.
Phil wants to go away for a week, which he has not been able to do for 3 years.
Right.
And look, that was true with our eBay and Airbnb. We couldn't go away until we got help.
Yeah.
So that we could. So that was part of it was we were can Ryan roast? Now Phil walked me through every single step.
Well, with any process, there's a learning process, and so.
But I knew I guess also with the point of all the preparation in since August has been, I knew what he was asking me to do.
Yep.
Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's check this. You know, I'm like, I know what he's talking about.
Yeah. Let me ask you something, and then we can end this. Was it fun? Is it fun to learn something new?
Yeah, it was fun. Look, it was exhausting. The 2 days after that, I was like, I'm so tired. And it's not so much like physically demanding, but mentally, I'm like, I got to do this right. You know, I got to like pay attention. I can't like space out into a text message. I'm like, this has to happen, you know. Yeah. And it was like 5 hours straight of work standing at the roaster, you know.
Yeah. So, if you're interested in trying coffee that Ryan roasted
I roasted it.
You can go ahead and buy it. And we sell gift cards. It's good for gifts. So, anyway, buy from us so we can be a real business. Anyway, this podcast is ending.
3, 2, 1.
Bye.
Bye.